It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to The Local Show, the 2023 New Year edition. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local business with business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. Then we talk about how they got into business, why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You'll hear all about their successes, challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We are broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Happy weekend to Steve Roberts. How are you there?
I'm doing good, Tom. You know, you said that almost 200 times.
Did I?
But seriously, think about it.
Just now?
Think about it. Almost 4 years. Mm-hmm. All the shows, that many weeks. That's a lot. You know, you could even do that, man. That's a lot.
It's like being stuck in Groundhog Day.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
Here we are on The Local Show again.
So I had a little Christmas snafu, Tom.
Yeah.
So I came in last week, and Sonia, who works here, she said, "Hey, did you give Judy that gift?" And I went, And she goes into the closet, and there it is.
Oh, you forgot to give her
So the answer was no. So Lori and Sonia, they had this, they talked, and they had this thing, and it was nice and special. So what I did was I pulled a line from the Christmas Story movie. I put it in a bag, and the tree's still up, and I tucked it around the corner behind the tree. So it's
I see. Yeah, so it's like, make believe it got lost.
Hey, honey, looks like you missed something. She didn't fall for it, but she did love the gift.
Okay, great.
She did love the gift. But the tree is down. The halls have been de-decked.
Very nice. Yeah.
The dog stopped eating the tree. All kinds of good things.
Yeah, our stuff is still up. Yeah, it'll be up for a while. I had other things go bad. The washer and the dryer there, I had to take apart and put back together.
Are you the deck de-hauler?
Well, I mean, everybody is. My wife will get involved. And the 25-year-old who's still home, she'll help us take care of it.
If you put it off long enough, someone else will do it.
Yeah, that's what I hope to do.
That's my theory.
Well, we've got a lot of great show for you today, so stick around, folks. Maybe as you're taking down your decorations, you can listen. Don Van Pelt is up first. He's the owner of Mr. Handyman of Greater Syracuse. John Smith from J.C. Smith Incorporated. Lisa Romano Moore is the new executive director of the Onondaga Historical Association. She'll stop by. And Neil Carr, owner of Prime Heating and Air. Jennifer Covert is the executive director of North Area Meals on Wheels. And then George Powers stops by, owner of Powers Accounting and Business Services. Sheila Ostrom, owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions, will also stop by, along with Tim Shore, who's the co-owner and brewer of the Buried Acorn Brewing Company, which is just around the corner from the Zoey Studios here. Right now, we say hello to Don Van Pelt. How are you?
I'm great.
I've seen your trucks around all through the winter months as well.
That's perfect. That's exactly what they were designed to
One almost hit me, as a matter of fact.
I was going to say,
who fixes not what you're supposed to be telling me.
Who fixes a handyman truck, Tom, when it breaks down? Do they do it themselves?
Actually, most of them could.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Good golly. Mr. Handyman. Hey, what's your background anyway? Where'd you come from?
So, I'm originally from the Utica area, as I understand you are, Tom.
No, I worked out in Utica for quite a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was.
I thought you were one of us.
No.
His name ends in a vowel, so that counts.
You would think,
that
right?
must be it.
But I get out there quite a bit, especially. It seems like we booked a lot of DJ work out there this year for some reason, which to my chagrin, because it's still an hour away from home,
Yeah.
But nice places.
But you used to be a famous DJ.
Yeah, sure.
Was it here in Syracuse or out there?
Both, actually. Yeah.
What station were you out in Utica?
I was at Rock 107 for a while.
Remember
Yeah,
Rock
remember that?
107?
That was fun.
That was a great station.
Beautiful double wide.
And then the station
It was.
Back in the day.
no, they all are.
Yeah.
Oneida too, right, Tom?
Oh, yes. And there was an Oneida, another double wide or anyway. So so I was all through that
Rock
area.
107 was a powerhouse back in the 80s.
Yeah, back in the 80s.
Yeah, they used to go to Syracuse War Memorial with 3 buses and 107 kids.
But enough about
and we
me.
used to come back with 103.
I'm a never was Ben. Tell me more about you.
I just want to introduce that. Most people don't know that. He's a
Your
very famous
your
DJ.
time is up.
I know. My background is I'm a graduate of University of Buffalo, SUNY Polytech Institute. I have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in engineering, one in business management. So I did a long career at National Grid for 31 years. Retired as a director of
Good golly. And you're so young.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're so
I know
young.
we're all about the same.
So what
age.
made you go, hey, I want to own a Mr. Handyman franchise?
So I just knew there was a need for this type of work in the area. And I was actually just looking to get into business by myself.
Yeah.
When I did some searching online, and I actually found some franchise information.
Yeah.
And I kept digging into it, and the last thing I wanted to do was work for a franchise.
Yeah, but that changed.
But that changed.
So now you own it. You don't work for it. You own it.
Well, I own it, but we are part of a larger corporation,
Yeah,
which is great because we have that huge marketing effort behind us.
So what are things
National.
right now, it's January, what are things that people are needing fixed?
So we're replacing the insides of toilets this morning.
So over to Mom's this week. Over to Mom's doing fixing
We're
Mom's
doing
toilet.
a Mansfield toilet. He didn't tell me that, but that usually involves it just putting in a new toilet.
That's a brand name, right? A brand name.
It's
Mansfield.
a style.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a style.
So what else do you do?
We do all sorts of drywall repair. We do a lot of drywall repair. And as a result, painting afterwards. We do a lot of ceiling repairs, especially when older roofs start to leak into through the
Are floors big in the winter? Are people like, I got to change that floor?
Sure.
So you do some flooring.
Yeah,
How
we
about
do
dryer vents? If dryer vents get all clogged up, would you replace a dryer vent or clean it out?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. That's important. A lot of people don't clean their dryer vents, and that will make your dryer stop working.
So most people don't even know
to do
about
that,
it,
right?
or even what it involves and what it is,
What's
or
a
even
dryer
that they
vent?
have a dryer vent. So we'll let Steve know. Well, the dryer vent, there is over time, there's going to be a lot of lint that gets past the filter. So it's going to clog in those vents. Once it clogs, the dryer isn't going to. It isn't going to perform.
Yeah, I did know this. So if someone had a punch,
You did know this.
I did know this. So
you did.
if someone had a punch list of things, you don't have to just do one thing. So if the door is crooked and we want to do the floor and the toilet keeps running, you can go through a list of things, or is it like one at a time?
It's usually what we encourage customers to do. Get a list of smaller things so we don't have to come out to your house 3 different times.
Right.
Let's go there once, get your list together. There's always a couple things in the house that just need a little bit of tweaking or fixing, and we can always do that. So get the list together and then call us and say, I have this list.
Are you pretty responsive at this point? Because I know that people are busy. So, you can
get to places in a day or two, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like you got to wait a week.
No,
right?
no. We can get to you.
Is it better they call or go to MrHandyman.com?
Either one is great. I have a great customer service person. She is.
I think when I went to your website, something pops up and lets you chat with somebody right away.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the phone number 362-1322 or is it a different number?
Correct.
So write this down. I'll go slower, which I never do. 362-1322. If someone says, hey, how much does it cost to do that? That's probably what they ask. Yeah, how long will it take? So
that's
MrHandyman.com or Tom, 362-1322.
Yeah. Stay off of YouTube. Call Mr. Handyman. Wouldn't that be right?
Absolutely.
Stay off of YouTube.
Yeah, let us handle it.
Unless they're liking and subscribing to the Zoey page.
Oh, well, then you could do that. Sure. Well, thank you. Don Van Pelt is the franchise owner right there of Mr. Handyman of Greater Syracuse. Have a great rest of the day, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, John Smith is coming up next. He is from J.C. Smith Incorporated. We'll find out all about them on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. Thanks for joining us on this weekend with Tom and Steve from Zoey Advertising. We are The Local Show, broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Also on YouTube, you can check us out. If you go on Zoey Advertising's page, you just look up Zoey Advertising, you will see all of the wonderful videos and segments of the show and things like that. So you can follow us and like us, and that way every time we put up a piece of content, you will receive it. That's the way that works.
Tom, haven't you ever wondered, and you're a radio guy from way back when, what does that person look like? Now, it doesn't mean, it's just like just out of curiosity.
Yeah. It was funny because I was a huge Rush Limbaugh fan. He had started in radio, obviously, when I was in, beginning my career too. And he had made it big. So I listened to him for a long time. And
you're
I was
here,
like,
Tom.
I'm
he made it big and you're here.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay. A whole list of my failures you can put in a big bucket. So Rush was doing his thing. And when he came out with his TV show and everything, I thought, man, I'm going to get a chance to see him. And I saw him and it ruined it for me.
Did it really?
Yeah, I looked at him and I go, wow, man, he's not attractive. So I can imagine when people see me, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't stomach this guy.
It ruined it for you. Wow. To me, it was like peeling the onion. There's a little more there to see and a little more.
Same with Howard Stern. I saw Howard doing his thing and I thought, man, why are these guys go? Because there's something to the mystique of the voice, the inflections, the way that the conversations carry. Then when you see it, it's kind of like, you need to leave video for like really good looking people like Ryan Reynolds.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, no? Oh, yeah, he's great. You know who Ryan Reynolds is, don't you? Oh,
yeah. I understand he's good looking.
Some people got it, some people don't.
He owns Mint Mobile now, but he's a great actor, and he was in a lot of stuff, a lot of funny stuff. But there's a lot of great looking people, and you really got to be good looking George Clooney types.
I know that guy.
Guys like that. You know that. Anyways,
Brian Dumond.
Brian Dumond is the president of Geddes Federal. He's a great guy and very approachable. Give us, I'll give you 15 seconds to talk about Geddes Federal. Go ahead.
Well, they're terrific. A survey says, there was some research out there that said that the thing that people like about Geddes is they answer their phone. How about that?
That's something else.
Right? And that's a big deal. You guys
something
talk,
simple.
You can
Very
talk
important.
to a person.
That's simple.
Because we've all been at the end of that thing. And CDs, certificates of deposit CDs, money markets, and certainly mortgages and home equity loans. But they're here. You can have a real conversation with a real person. They got great rates and they're real trustworthy. So if you're in the market, certainly put Geddes on the list. I'd put it at the top. Get it at GeddesFederalSavingsLoan.com, Tom.
There you go. All right. Now it's our pleasure to bring a new person out to the show. His name is John Smith. Not to be confused with the Smythes of London. It's John Smith from J.C. Smith Incorporated. He's a sales manager and in management over at J.C. Smith Incorporated. How are you, buddy?
Good. How you guys doing?
Oh, hanging right in there.
What a coincidence. The name. He's got the same name as the company.
Yeah, right. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into this business and why.
Yeah. So it's my family's company. Been around since 1976. So kind of grew up down there. Summer vacation back in high school, college. It was all the kids were excited to go home and play video games, and I'm kind of sitting there. Oh, all right. Well, I got to go to work. So it was at a young age. I was always very intrigued within the company, and kind of grew up down there, and
Cool.
Now
Did you go to college?
I did, yeah. I went to Monroe Community College out in Rochester.
Oh, nice.
And got my business administration degree, and still spent a lot of time working in the Rochester store, but got my grades and got.
So how many stores are there then?
So we have 6 locations across upstate New York.
Okay. Wow.
The main hub being in Syracuse.
Gotcha. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up right in the city of Syracuse.
Where?
Sedgwick area.
So we drill down here.
Yeah, we drilled down.
Oh, I got you. I did my research. I watched my videos.
What's the house number?
Sedgwick. I learned to drive in Sedgwick. We lived on Highland Ave, which right around the corner, feeds right in, right?
Yeah.
So I was on Highland Ave, and actually my friend Anthony Centaro, I believe he had a house right there. Did you know the Centaros at all?
I believe so. If it's the same Centaros from when I was growing up.
Yeah. So they were right around the corner. But Brattle Street and all those.
Durston and Rugby, if you want to get exact.
Right. Yeah, Rugby. Yep. And I used to.
Don't live there anymore, so don't go looking.
No. But those streets were a great place to learn to drive because you had all sorts of one ways and ins and outs, and it was pretty fun over there. So you got involved with the family business. What is the business?
So J.C. Smith is a construction supply rental warehouse, based in New York, 6 locations across upstate. And so it's a family-ran business. I'd be a part of the 3rd generation of the company. Okay. A couple other cousins in there, too, that are going to help out. And we specialize in supplying our customers with contractor-grade products and equipment.
So who are your customers? So I still feel a gap. So am I your customer because you have a house? Or is
absolutely. No, we're open to the public. So anyone working on a project at their house, stop on in. We got plenty of stuff.
So are you a Home Depot?
Well, I would say we're more of a contractor grade. So guys that are using it every single day. For example, heavy highway contractors, bridge contractors, landscaping contractors, paving, municipalities. So guys that need their equipment to get jobs done so that they can pay the bills.
So would it be safe?
Roads.
Yeah, would it be safe to say you carry a higher end brand? Or?
Yes, I would say. I mean, there's a lot of brands that coexist between us and like a big box store, but yes, ours would be more of a higher end equipment that we trust, that our customers know they can come in, they can get it serviced from us. Mm-hmm. So it's not only the sale, but it's also, down the road if something you need a part for it, we can do that. I mean, really the 4 pillars within our company are sales, service, signs, and rental.
Signs, yeah.
We actually, out of the 6 locations, 3 of the stores have full print shops. So we do
signs.
Yeah. So for example, like I said, we do a lot with like heavy highway contractors, and so those big signs you see on the side of the road that say like "Road Work Ahead," the big orange and black ones.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we fabricate those all in house.
So heavy contractors, guys that have to lose weight. What do you mean?
No, like heavy highway. So it's just a description.
So is this heavy highway? The people that are actually repairing the roads?
Correct.
Is that heavy highway?
Correct.
So not like driveway sealers?
Well, no, we do a lot of business with driveway sealers.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So both of them. Yeah.
So then let's talk turkey here.
Yeah.
So you like dark meat or white meat? No. What I mean is, should somebody go to you as opposed to a big box store? Can they get more variety? Will they get more knowledge?
Well, see, that's a lot of, when customers come in, we have great people behind the counter, great people that work for us that they're knowledgeable. So they won't
ignore you like they do when I walk into.
When you walk in, you're going to get a hello. When you call our store, you're going to get a person that answers. So, a lot of the customers coming in, they base on us for knowledge. So they hey, what should I be using for this job? What should I be using for that?
Right.
And that's really what sets us apart from the big box stores is our experience and, the trust.
Do people just walk in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Where are you in Syracuse?
So 345 Peach Street, Syracuse, New York.
Give us context.
So get off at Teal Ave, take a right onto Burnett, and then take a right onto Peach Street. And if you're coming from Erie Boulevard, look for the Aldi's, take a left. And it's right there. And we're actually right across the street from the city of Syracuse municipality building there.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense.
And when are you open?
We are open from 6 a.m. until 4:30 p.m.
My kind of hours.
Yeah, those are your hours. Yeah, sure.
I like that. Yeah. I don't need anything, but I might just swing by.
No, and like I said, we're open to the public. We're a big warranty repair center. We sell Makita, Milwaukee, DeWalt.
All the good
stuff.
So
even if you do buy the tool somewhere else, they typically send them to us to get repaired. We have a guy.
Yeah. Are you like a kept secret? Because do people know that they walk in and go, wow, I didn't know you did all this stuff?
I would say if you're in the industry in the construction world, I think we have a great reputation. We have a great following. Mm-hmm. I think more on the public side, I think it's maybe a hidden gem. But hey, that's what we're here.
I'm going to come over.
Get the name out there. Yeah.
And really quickly, are you that much more expensive than a box store, or are you comparable?
very, very price competitive. We actually have a big e-commerce website too.
Excellent.
jcsmithinc.com, and you can buy right on there. And we sell all over the U.S.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, John, we're going to have you on again because there's so much to talk about. I want to really get into the tools and stuff. J.C. Smith Incorporated, that's John Smith right there. You have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Coming up next, Lisa Romano-Moore. She's the new executive director at the Onondaga Historical Association. We'll talk to her on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You're back at it with Tom and Steve on The Local Show. We certainly appreciate you taking your time in this new year and spending weekend time with us. You're probably not out mowing the lawn at this point.
Well, I don't know. Things warmed up. Maybe the grass grew a little bit, Tom.
My lawn guy called me and said, are you going to re-sign the contract? I hadn't received it via email. And I said, yeah, I'm going to do it again because our lawn was patchy, for the longest time, and it kept burning in certain areas. And since I've had this guy do his thing, it's been wonderful, lush and green and all that. But when he called, I said, hey, are you coming over to do a treatment in the snow? And I said, I know it's green right now, but still, you never know.
So you have a lawn guy. Wow, that's impressive.
Well, yeah, it's one of those. He's not the big store, He's a guy who knows all about the chemicals and the grubs and the this and that, and you got to get it treated.
Well, you're chasing it. What is that? And what is this? And what is that?
Yeah, and in my neighborhood, I want to look decent. It's not where I grew up. I think the yard was predominantly crabgrass and dandelions.
Yeah,
and my father never thought anything about it.
And your people actually ate those things too, right?
Well, yeah. My grandmother used to make the dandelions. A little oil, a little vinegar, a little garlic. Yeah, it's all good. So let's talk with Neil Carr right now. He's the owner of Prime Heating and Air. We've had him on 102 times before, and now you're going to hear him again because he's a wealth of knowledge. How are you there, Neil?
Doing well. Let's clarify something real quick, though, so we don't have fake news. I am not the owner of Prime Heating and Air.
No, did I say you were the owner?
I am just just one of the the No, that's my brother Dwayne. That would be my brother Dwayne. Yeah, I don't want to get accused of fake news.
So what you're saying is you own it.
Yeah, I do not. No.
See, he doesn't want to take the responsibility either, in case there's any people out there with your head on a platter.
His name's on the wall.
No, but when people call, a lot of times they end up having a conversation with you. Right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I do a lot of the scheduling, a lot of the follow-up, a lot of that stuff. So I'm talking to a lot of people for sure.
You don't give everybody your number to text you, do you? Is that just for me? Or
Yeah. No, I mean, they don't need it really. I mean, they call the office number and they're going to get someone regardless. So
okay, good.
Yeah. Morning, day, and night.
Because you've been awfully responsive every time I've texted you. And I appreciate that. I think the question on everybody's mind is, do you clean out dryer ducts?
All right.
Yeah, we do get that occasionally. I mean, we have in the past. I mean, it's not a big part of our business. No. Obviously, it's not something that we spend a lot of time on.
But is that kind of ducting something you guys are into? Not really.
I mean, there used to be what there was a company,
the Wizard, Mr. Event Wizard. Yeah, I do remember that
specifically for that.
Right. But you guys are like, we'll help you with that.
Yeah, right. I mean, we do what we can. I mean, we don't have all the right stuff to do a big in-depth thing, but we help out when we can.
Tom, do you hear there's a new law that like furnaces have got to run on squirrel treadmill or something?
Well, that was one of my questions. One of my questions was, how is the government, both federally and locally, New York State wise, how's that going to affect your business? Like, do you have to get new equipment in now and start installing it?
No, I mean, we've been installing it. Obviously, the big push is to go all electric. So, I mean, we're able to adjust along the way. So as it becomes more and more prevalent, then we'll be fine. We're not. This hasn't really changed our way of business today, but over the next 5-10 years, it might be a little different.
Doesn't something have to create the electricity?
Yeah, that would be natural gas, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm not a genius.
Did I offend anybody? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, those kinds of questions are a little above my pay grade, but you know, we can only do what we're told to do. But yeah, I mean, hey, a different administration in 4 years may do something different. Right. Who knows? So we'll see. It's something you obviously got to pay attention to. You got to plan for it, but it's not right now. It's not something we have to change our business model to accommodate right now. But
if something breaks, are we good, or is COVID still in the weeds of supply chain and all that stuff?
No, we're good on equipment. I mean, as people are looking to replace, obviously we've already started doing this, but we're going to give them options for electric heat pumps and high efficient stuff and all that anyway. So we're giving people those options now as they begin to look at replacements, just because it's great technology and it is super efficient. So we're going to continue to do that, and we'll put them in as people want them, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
It's interesting because I rub shoulders with a lot of contractors, and over the years, past 20 years, let's say, I've been involved, in marketing some of those types of companies, and I remember one time people telling me that natural gas was so efficient and so cost effective and clean burning that it was really a good way to go.
You're using common sense now, Tom. Go ahead, Neil. Take this one.
And I was told that electricity that was a waste of energy in a lot of cases.
I mean, you have the same information I have. You know what I mean? So I'm not.
And then all of a sudden it changed.
I'm not an energy.
No, it didn't change. That's still
expert,
true.
But
the politics kicked in.
Yes, it must be.
It's natural gas. It's natural. It's there. It's there. So hey, I mean,
whatever, man.
Getting people off of fuel oil, that's a great thing to do. And,
What breaks in the middle of the winter?
I mean, everything can, usually, obviously we've kind of had a break here, like you said, with the temperatures and things, but when we were having those single digit temperatures, it's a lot of, you're going to see a lot of blower motors, heat exchanger issues, maybe stuff tripping out on high limit because they've been running nonstop type things. So some overheating. Honestly, the biggest thing with a lot of the furnace breakdowns is ductwork. Is the ductwork in the house adequate? Especially as you begin to deal with these furnaces that have been put in after the fact, so they weren't the original furnace.
Oh, okay,
and,
right.
So, heating, a furnace put in because it was it's a great furnace and it's going to be great, but they, maybe sometimes they didn't take into account the amount of return and how big the return venting is.
Is that common?
You do see it. Yeah, you see it. I mean, we try to look at that stuff and size accordingly and let people know, hey, we can do this, but we're gonna have to adjust some of this ductwork stuff, or hey, you're having these issues because either you closed off too many of your supplies or your returns, or
Gotcha.
So ductwork is big. Having proper airflow in the middle of the winter when it's cold and things running nonstop is definitely important.
Is that for like price or efficiency or both? Like because the cost of all the fuels have gone way up.
Yeah, right. So it's more for the protection of the equipment. It's not overheating. Okay. Anytime things start to overheat, you're going to have premature breakdown in components. So keeping your filter changed, keeping your returns wide open and clean, and getting good airflow is definitely important this time of year.
What do you say to people who walk into these big box stores and they see the display of all the digital thermostats and they think that's going to solve their problems for energy efficiency and everything?
I mean, they help a little bit, sure, but basically when it comes to a thermostat, it's just it's convenience, it's out of aesthetics, I like this is cool.
It's just a switch, that
kind of thing,
right?
Yeah,
really.
At the end of the day, it's still turning the furnace to come on, telling the furnace to come on and off. Yeah.
How can people future-proof their homes now? We were talking a little bit about that, but
Yeah, I'll go back to what I was saying. As your equipment ages and your furnaces age, or you start to get to the point where you're looking to replace it, definitely take a look at the heat pump options.
This electric heat pump, I hear a lot about it. Can you explain it a little more? Because
so basically it's an air source heat pump. So it's taking either the heat or the cool factor of the air outside, and it's using that to help heat or cool the house. So it's a unit outside that's going to do both your heat and your air conditioning.
Oh, okay.
And it can be used on a whole house, like a forced air whole house system. Gotcha. So you have a furnace that's only doing your heat, and then you've got your central air. The heat pump is doing everything out of one unit outside.
Very interesting. Yep. And you can install those no problem.
Yep.
And you have
you can retrofit those. Yep. You can keep your furnace for now, and you can retrofit the heat pump onto it. You can use that a majority of the time and just have the furnace as a backup to kind of begin making your way towards that.
You didn't rave about your reviews, but I will. Online, Prime Heating and Air. If you look, you guys have a great reputation.
Yeah, we always thank our customers, appreciate the feedback and the good things they have to say about us. Even the ones that don't always say the greatest things about us, we appreciate the feedback. It's going to help us improve.
Great. All right. Neil Carr right there, Vice President of Prime Heating and Air. And you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thanks, guys. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. We'll have conversations coming up in hour number 2 with Jennifer Covert. She is the Executive Director of North Area Meals on Wheels. George Powers, my favorite guy, coming in, owner of accounting, Powers Accounting and Business Services. Sheila Ostrom will stop by, owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. And then Tim Shore, the co-owner and brewer of Buried Acorn Brewing Company. Stick around. Hour number 2 of The Local Show coming up real soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Get Us Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Jennifer Covert, who is the Executive Director of North Area Meals on Wheels. George Powers stops by, owner of Powers Accounting and Business Services. Sheila Ostrom will grace us with her presence. She is the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. And then Tim Shore wraps things up. He's the co-owner and brewer over at Buried Acorn Brewing Company. All on The Local Show this hour. Thank you for hanging out with Tom and Steve in this new year. You know, they were talking about the passage of time and the effect that COVID had on people's perception of time.
Okay, what did they say? Because I'm like, what year was it? Wait a minute, it was a year? There was 2?
Right,
was like,
that people actually kind of felt like there was this lapse of time, like time went by, fast forwarded, and we don't even remember what happened during those 2 years.
That's my perception.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
Dude, how about these things that come in? People we lost this year. And you ever see those?
Oh,
and
it's
like, and it's like, I'm interested, but I'm also like depressed.
Right.
Like
well,
all these people, and then you always see something like, I didn't know they died. You know, like somebody that was on something. Those things like you just have to watch.
Sure.
But it's depressing.
But, you know, the point is that we're always losing people, right? So somebody's grandma died today, somebody's grandfather, somebody's parents.
Sometimes, and sadly, somebody's child.
Yeah, and that can happen too.
Awful.
Yeah, so, you know, it's always happening. It's just that the media needs to fill a lot of space. Just watch YouTube.
Yeah,
you have to fill a lot of space, or Instagram. And when you have to fill so much, then you go for anything, and then you start marking time by it. But I remember thinking of this when they went CNN, and you and I are old enough to know that when they went to CNN and they went to the Weather Channel full time, I said, what the heck are these people going to talk about?
Yeah, no. When I was a kid, the joke was we'd go to my friend's house, and it was the old cable with the cable box. And
sure.
And it's like, we can't watch TV. My dad's watching the weather. And it was like, what is there to watch? It's like the thing is, Dad's watching. I remember the line was watching the weather.
Well, I remember this, that when I was going to college and I needed to rest because, you know, I was always, you know, playing at a club, and then I'd try and lift weights in between, and then, you know, regular college courses. And to fall asleep and take a nap, I used to turn on the Weather Channel because they had all that gentle jazz music in the background.
Right, it would scroll, and then nothing would change. And, not as exciting as Meals on Wheels time.
Oh, no, not as exciting. It's nice to have Jennifer Covert back. She's the Executive Director of North Area Meals on Wheels. And how are you, Jennifer?
I'm great. Happy New Year to
Happy
you.
New Year.
Can you believe it?
I pass your place all the time because my 16-year-old son has a girlfriend over there.
Oh.
Not too far
At
away.
Meals on Wheels?
No, not at Meals on
Wow.
Wheels.
An older lady?
On one of the side streets over there. So I pass all the time.
It's a nice little area. area. It's a great community over there. I thought you meant on 81 because you could see the building from 81.
Yes,
It's a dead spot for my cell phone.
Oh, it's a dead spot for
Is it
sure.
really?
I can't even make a call.
Going south, going north,
Yes.
right there, boom, there's like 30 seconds of nothing.
It's true. And I used to think it was just our building, but it's not. It's
not.
outside, around, down the street. You cannot make a phone call. It's insane.
Wow. So, Jennifer, where did you come from? What's your professional and personal background, and what got you over to Meals on Wheels?
Oh, wow, what a loaded question.
Yeah,
today.
go ahead. You got about 10 minutes to talk.
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead.
No, before Meals on Wheels, so I've been there about 6.5 years at this
Okay.
point. But before that, I lived in Arkansas, believe it or not, for a couple of years.
Arkansas.
Yes.
All right.
Arkansas, yeah.
Oh, yeah. My husband's job moved us there. It was not by choice. And I got involved in another nonprofit there that was, a passion of mine. And it just kind of exploded. I've always been in sales, believe it or not.
Really? Okay.
Oh, years and years and years of sales, radio sales, actually,
no kidding. Oh, my
for a
gosh.
while.
What company did you work for?
I worked for Galaxy.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, my
I did.
gosh.
I
Here
actually
locally?
loved it. I did.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I actually loved it, but kids and
You
just
loved radio
circumstances.
sales?
I did. I
Wow,
did because
you're a
I love
sick
people.
woman. I'll tell you
No,
that.
I really liked it because I got to get out there and the events and all that stuff. It's my
Well,
gig.
you
I
must have
like
worked
it.
with Lisa Morrow over there.
I did
yeah.
work with Lisa.
Lisa's great, though.
Yes.
She's a
Oh,
wonderful
such a
person.
nice
Yeah.
lady. So, I did a lot of sales, but then when I got into the nonprofit, I thought, wow, I get to advocate for people. This is great. And I could still get out there and talk and do presentations, everything that I like to do, be in front of people, go crazy. And then we moved back after a little spider incident happened.
Spider incident.
We won't go into that today. Not enough
Okay.
time.
All right.
But when I got back to New York, I couldn't really find anything in that same realm. And then a Meals on Wheels job popped up, and I thought, well, I advocated for these people. Now I can advocate for seniors. I can do the same thing.
So if
that's what I did.
someone's confused about Meals on Wheels,
Yeah.
or maybe says it rolling food,
Rolling food, right.
what is it? Who do you serve, and how is it done?
Yeah, that's a good question because a lot of people think differently of what it is. And we serve homebound seniors, but also disabled or anybody who cannot make their own meals or get out there to get their own food. We deliver the meals to their homes, nutritious, healthy meals. And we also do a well check, which is almost as important. We make sure that they're
that's
okay.
nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's really one of the most important things because a lot of our seniors, a lot of our homebound people, they don't have family or anybody. So we're the only people that they see every day. And there have been many occasions where there's an emergency or a health crisis, and we were there to call 911 and possibly save their life. So it's such an important service, not just feeding them, but making sure that they're okay too.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not meant for people, if one spouse or the other doesn't cook well, we can't call you. And
You can. Actually, anybody who wants Meals on Wheels can pay for Meals on Wheels. I mean,
Oh, you can. You can pay for it.
If you can pay for them. Some people pay, some people don't. But if I broke my arms and my legs tomorrow and I was in the hospital and I
forbid.
live by myself, I know.
Right.
I'm
Right.
creating this weird scenario, but I lived alone and everything was broken.
Well, that happened to Steve, actually.
Oh no.
Another day.
Yeah, that's a story.
So where does the food come from?
So we make the food right at our building,
Oh, okay.
and we make it fresh that day.
Oh,
so
goodness, yeah.
it's basically a bunch of your aunts and grandmothers in a kitchen making homemade
No
food.
kidding.
It's not, prepackaged or frozen. It's this really delicious and a huge variety of food that they make a fresh lunch and a fresh hot entree for dinner.
Oh, that's wonderful,
And then
yeah.
a drink. And a lot of our clients will eat the hot entree when we get there at lunchtime because it smells so good and it's hot. So they'll eat that and then they'll eat the cold lunch for dinner, but really good food. I mean,
Okay.
great.
So are those all volunteers, or do you have paid staff? How's it work?
Everybody who makes the food and delivers the food, they're all volunteers, which is insane. We have almost 300 volunteers.
No kidding.
It's crazy. And we would not be able to function without them. And we have only 12 paid staff members, including myself. Yeah. And they're all part-time except for me. So our volunteers run the show.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's something.
It's awesome.
So is it more difficult in the first quarter of the year, after the new year, for people to... do you find that you're distributing more meals at this time?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And a lot of it is because of the holidays.
Yeah.
Some of our folks are with family, or they're all set up for the holidays, and then the holidays are over, and they're back to being alone
Right.
and not having the support. So we get a big uptick after the holidays.
Do you also serve, people who are maybe on welfare or something like that are having food insecurity? I mean,
Well,
or are you just seniors?
We would serve anybody.
okay.
Absolutely anybody who called, we would serve. And there are different programs and there's different, funding sources that you can go
Yeah.
through depending on what your situation is. The majority of our clients are seniors. And actually, I wanted to tell you this because
Sure,
this
go
is
ahead.
crazy. So we have about 315 people right now. We're up pretty high.
Yeah.
But 115 of them are over 85 years old.
Oh, goodness.
So that just shows you,
Wow.
Wait a second. People can
people
live
are
that
living
long?
a long time.
So my mom, who's 89, would probably volunteer to deliver the food because she's
She's
she
that
wants to be out
vibrant.
there doing it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's something.
yeah.
Oh, our oldest volunteer in the kitchen, I think, is 91.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
and she
amazing.
drives
Bless her.
from Camilla all the way to our
So if
place.
folks were listening and they maybe wanted to have food delivered daily, would they call or the website? What's best?
Really either. To me, I think calling is the best thing because you're going to be directed to a case manager.
Okay.
We have at least one or two there every day. So,
So
call.
452, write this down, 452-1402.
Yes.
452-1402.
Get right to a case manager.
And you can have a conversation. They want to volunteer, or
about
maybe they want it. Maybe they need food. Either way, right?
Oh, yeah. There's prompts. It'll tell you, you want to volunteer, press this. You want to, so.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for all you do. Jennifer Covert
welcome.
right there. She's the executive director of North Area Meals on Wheels. And thank you to all of your staff, too.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You have a great rest of the day.
You too.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting and Business Services, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Heidi ho, and back to the show. Here we are on the local show on 570 WSYR, also on YouTube, Zoey Advertising. If you tend to look at your YouTube a lot, you can look up Zoey Advertising on YouTube. You will find a bunch of video clips that we have taken, and you will also find snippets of the show. I have all sorts of weird stuff coming up in my timeline on YouTube, and I primarily look for the same things. You know, it's audio gear, how to use certain audio things, photography, videography, and all those things. But somehow I get girls doing yoga as well. In the shorts, and I don't know why. So my wife's looking over my shoulder in the bedroom the other day, and she's going, "What are you watching?" I said, "I don't know. They're serving me up all this how to stretch and these girls in tights and things, and I feel obligated that I have to look at them.
I don't know.
I have to analyze them, right?
It knows us somehow.
a little too much.
I get camera stuff, electronic stuff, a lot of drone stuff because I'm interested in flying. Police chases. I wonder why. I find them very
That's
interesting.
interesting.
You know, like police chase because it is.
Now, why do you get that and I don't get that?
Yeah, I guess.
I've never looked at a
police chases. I like live cams of wildlife. in
right,
remote- and
sure,
things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I love.
Do they serve that up to you?
They do.
Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out.
You get yoga pants, and Steve gets wildlife.
Yeah.
Now, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm not trying to make a joke. I've never looked up specifically girls in
Are you
tights.
signed in?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
It might just be male.
Right, yeah, my age and what have you,
Right.
yeah. But I don't know how, microwave fixes turns into 50 ways to stretch in yoga pants.
No.
But
No, maybe George Powers knows the answer.
well, I'm going to forward it over to George because you might want to look at that yourself.
I should learn how to stretch.
That's right. Learn how to breathe and stretch and all that. We're talking with George Powers right now. He's the owner of Powers Accounting and Business Services right here on the local show. George, how are you?
I am doing super great. Cannot complain.
Snappy, happy New Year.
That's right.
What goes on at your office in the first quarter?
Oh, well.
Is it like hysteria or what? What goes on?
Depends on which area. On the payroll, they are obviously up to their necks, but it's beyond that. They're underwater right now.
Right.
Signing up new people on the payroll,
Yeah.
getting the year end done, getting the W-2s out. So there's a lot going on. And we have a lot of new clients starting up.
I see.
Starting up fresh at the year. A lot of new businesses starting too. So
Oh, great. Hey,
it is a little bit chaos. I have to admit, we got a lot going on.
Are people thinking, wow, I got to do something different? So are they starting because there's a natural
I
bend at the beginning of the year? I got to do it different.
Right, I got to do everything different.
There is some of that, okay, new year, new way of doing things.
Right.
There's that natural thing that people do at the new year.
Sure.
But it's also, people are making their side gig into full-time businesses. It's just a lot going on right this time of the year.
What do you see like the hottest business trend? Like, let me ask it differently.
Yoga pants.
Yes, watching yoga pants videos.
Is there a particular business that you think is going to do really well in this new year?
I
2023.
I give up trying to predict. My ball is.
You're not a prognosticator.
No, it's broken. I just wait to see. I've seen people make money in every single solitary business that you can possibly imagine, and some that you think should make money and don't. Mm-hmm. It really depends on the management, the operations. Make sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, and that you're doing the right things for your customers and clients.
But there's trends. To Tom's point, I think it's a great point. If I'm trying to sell ice to Eskimos, it seems like I would have a lower success rate than hot water on a cold water.
Well, you see these
services. Services are still booming. Obviously, retail stores are struggling. But and they will continue to do so with the internet that we have. But I would say professional services are right now booming. Also, trades. So because tradesmen are such demand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I would say in general, services are growing.
What about these pot shops? The vapes and I see a lot of them. They look very colorful.
The pot shops are going to have a real struggle. Everybody wants to get into it, but the problem with selling marijuana is it is still federally illegal, which means that you cannot. There is tax precedence that says you cannot deduct expenses against illegal income. You've got to report the income, but you cannot report overhead expenses.
Wait. So if somebody buys something for some product for $1, sells it for $2, I can't write off the $1 that it cost me. So
now wait a minute. Now you're getting into a little more sophisticated because if you can write off the direct cost of the product, but that's it. So in selling marijuana, the retail stores that sell marijuana can deduct the cost of the marijuana, but that's it. They can't deduct the wages. They can't deduct the rent, the utilities. They can't deduct any of that. So it's really, really hard to make money in that industry. There's a lot of states.
And I wasn't even really talking about the sale of the marijuana. I was saying the shops that are up now that have all the bongs in the windows and the e-cigarettes and all that.
Right? Back to the 70s. Remember in the 70s? They were everywhere in the 70s. I don't have any clients that do that. I can't imagine that's actually a fast-growing industry.
Boy, it seems like they're popping up everywhere.
Because I think what they're popping up because they're thinking they're going to start selling marijuana and make money on that.
Right. So what about the big mic rind question? What is that going to do?
It's going to be great. There's no bad thing about it, I suppose, other than if you don't want to sell your house and you're living next to it. But as a whole, as the whole economy, it's going to be great. Thousands of new businesses. Thousands of new employees, high-paid employees. This is going to be very, very good. But
doesn't that maybe hurt small business that are trying to keep their employees? Hey, these people down the road are paying twice as much. And then
not really, because there'll always be a new generation of people that are going to want to work because there's going to be
there's people that want to work?
Well,
there's good and bad. I mean, with anything, there's good and bad, and you got to look at both sides. Yes, are they going to take some employees away from small businesses? Yeah, I'm sure they will. But there will be more people and more customers. So if you want to have a lot of people to hire, then you don't have customers because no one's working. So you've got to balance with that. So do businesses, particularly small businesses, struggle right now with finding new employees? Without a doubt, that is the hardest thing that people are doing these days, is finding good, solid employees that will work and work well. But that's an ongoing challenge that small businesses have everywhere, and they've got to come up with new ways to address it.
When did you see it start to become an issue? Like, was this an issue 7-8 years ago?
Yes, but it's worse now.
Okay.
I mean, it's been an issue for a long time.
Yeah, do you think? Is it COVID? Is that
something happened during COVID, and now there's less employment. There's less people looking for employment, and what's happening? The bigger companies are now bucking up more money, so there's people paying more. So because they can get it, more people are asking for it. So you get people asking, $25 an hour that maybe you paid them $16 or $17 dollars before, and they're out asking for it, and they're getting it at some places. The bigger companies are paying it, so you're kind of stuck with that. What's also happening is we're seeing a rebalancing of jobs that can be done virtual.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
We're seeing a lot of that. The accounting industry
Makes
has
sense.
a lot of that. Some of the others do as well. Let's just say Syracuse to New York City. If you had a job that was in New York City, how much would you have to pay an employee to live there, to work there?
3 times more.
Yeah, right.
Now,
Absolutely.
if you can take that person and outsource them to Syracuse, now you can pay that half as much as what you paid the person in New York
Right.
City, more than what you would have had to pay for someone in Syracuse. So what that's doing, that's kind of modifying the entire wage base, down in New York City maybe, but up in Syracuse and some of the other.
Don't
rest
give
of the
any of my
country.
employees ideas, George. This is getting a little too.
So we're seeing some of that. So it is a challenge. There's no question, and it's just one of the challenges that small businesses have to face because we don't have enough, people to go out. We don't have a full-time staff person to go find new people.
Right. Isn't he a wealth of knowledge? That's why I
He's
love
your
George.
favorite.
He's
your
so
favorite.
good, man.
I know.
And it's always with a calm demeanor.
You like him
It's
better
not
than me.
like, yes, of course.
just checking.
Of course, I like the toll people better than you.
And they're out of a
which they're
job.
out of jobs now, too. So, all right. Hey, that's George Powers right there. Thank you so much, George.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great, what do they call it, first quarter there.
First, gpowers.com still? You didn't change it?
Why not?
yet.
Okay.
Yeah, let's keep it that way. All right. Sheila Ostrom is coming up next. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. Keep it right here on the local show, 570 WSYR 1069 FM, and go follow us on YouTube.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we're back into it and back at it. You've got The Local Show with Tom and Steve. Welcome in, welcome in. First part of the new year. And Steve has all kinds of predictions. Go ahead, Steve.
Tom's.
That's enough.
Tom is going to be just a box of fresh air.
yes.
A win. He's going to have an optimistic attitude about everything, and he's going to have a smile on his face and a spring in his step.
Yeah, that ship sailed in 1985. New Year. Yeah, it was 85 was my good year. I was watching some of the movies there. It was Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. And, it's funny how you can mark time by those iconic movies. And those were the best years of my life. Mm-hmm. And now here I am. So anyway, but enough about me. Let's talk to somebody who has to be optimistic because it's what she does. And she helps a lot of people along with her team. It's Sheila Ostrom, owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. How are you?
I'm great.
See, she's great.
Yep. My resolution is to be more grateful this year.
Oh, yes.
That's my resolution.
So be resolute. SyracuseSenior.com. That's the website if you want to check out a nice picture of Sheila or go to our video feed and you can see. That's a very nice ensemble you have right there.
Oh, well, thank you.
What are you wearing there? Is it,
It's just a sweater with a fur collar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did
it's
you,
winter.
Did you stalk that and kill it yourself or did you
No, it's
buy
fake.
it? Okay.
I don't own anything
It's
real.
faux.
Yeah, I thought it. Tom said it.
Yeah, no.
Why not? She's fun. So you do something, well, first tell people what you do generally, and then we'll talk about how you can train people as well.
Sure. Well, as you know, we are in our busiest time of year because the holidays are over and now everyone's calling and saying, oh my God, my mom needs help or my dad needs some help. I noticed some things when I was home for the holiday. So our goal is to help seniors stay in their home as long as possible.
I see.
And many people can stay in their home with minimal support. And that's what we're here to do. We can do a lot of different things depending on the need of the client.
Right.
So we do a lot of meal preparation and we have meals with people so they eat. A lot of our seniors don't eat when they're alone. They just don't want to be bothered. Provide them with some of that socialization that they really need. Isolation's not good. We know this.
Right.
And it's never been more well known as it has been since COVID. So we provide some of that. socialization that they really need, and take them to doctor's appointments, take them out, just get them out of the house, do the laundry, change the sheets, all those types of things.
And they don't need to have a form of dementia for you to help them.
We help all sorts of people. We help people, just regular seniors who, a lot of them have never had anybody come into the home, but now they're finding they're a little more tired doing things, and they just need someone to help do some of the stuff so they have the energy to do the things they enjoy.
In the old days, it might be multi-generational things that happen in a household. So, the grandparents and the parents would live with other people.
Yeah.
And you would do that. But now with everybody working and everything, it doesn't happen as much anymore. And people are living longer.
And farther away.
And further away. Yeah, that's right. People are leaving town and all that.
It's true. And a lot of the families, even if they do live close, they're still working.
Yeah.
So when they come over, they spend all their time doing laundry and changing the sheets, so they're not spending quality time with their parents. So we can pick up some of that slack, so what they do come over, they can enjoy the time that they have with them.
Now, when people do have dementia, that is really, it's so sad. And I heard they're making some strides, too. Did I hear that right in the news?
There's always research going on, and there's always some good research going on. So, we just continue to hope that they can find a cure, because right now there is no cure. It is a terminal disease, and there's nothing that can stop it.
So once you have somebody in your life with a dementia, there's certain ways you can deal with them. Some people just might not know where to get the information on that, but you provide that.
We do. So, we help lots of regular seniors in the home, but we also specialize in helping seniors with dementia. And that's a huge part of what we do, because we're very passionate about dementia. It's very hard to take care of someone with dementia, and there's a lot of behaviors that can go with that, with angry outbursts, and parents will say things they've never said before to their kids, and they don't want help, they don't need help, but they really do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of behaviors with exit-seeking behavior, and it really depends. And every type of dementia is different, and every single case is different. So no one case is going to be the same as another. So it's really important that you know that. Tell us about the
training then.
Yeah, let's hear about the training, because the solutions that someone would think are common sense, maybe not.
And
so tell us about that.
Working with someone with dementia, you would think that it's common sense to say, well, my mom has always been logical, or my dad has always been logical and rational. And when they say, you know what, I saw your brother yesterday. Well, Mom, he passed away 10 years ago. And you can't say that, even though it's true, and you're telling the truth, and they should be able to rationalize that. They have a broken brain, so you can't do that. That's not how it works. So you have to be very thoughtful in your approach. So we do a lot of training on the TPAS No positive approach to care. And there's a team of us that do this type of training, and our number one trainer is Bernadette Tripp, and she does most of the consulting with families and the trainings. And we teach families how to take care of their loved ones with dementia by having them understand what's happening in the brain. Why do they react when I do this? Why do they react when I do that? What is a different approach I can do to get mom to get cleaned up? So we help with all of those types of things. And and we don't have enough caregivers, just like every other healthcare company around.
Yeah.
So we're looking for some part-time people to come and help. So anyone interested in finding out a little bit more, I'm a great person to work for, and flexible schedules are wonderful. So please give us a call at 469-1000 and talk to us about, what is it like working there part-time?
Explain the workshops or the trainings that are coming up. So you've got a couple of them come explain
times
when they are, who should come.
Yeah.
So we are offering, we do a monthly training every month, and we have people from all over the country that attend it. It's 6 hours, and it's done virtual, but it's live on Zoom. you are not just watching a video or listening to someone jibber jabber. It's interaction back and forth.
Gotcha.
And our first one in January is going to be January 10th, and that's going to be from 10 to 4 Eastern time, because we get a lot of people from out west, so we try not to start too much.
So is that for 10. Anybody that has a family member or friend that has some dementia? This is the best way. This is the way to help them. Is that what this is?
A great way for them to get information to help them.
Okay.
So that they can learn how to deal better. It's also good for caregivers who are working out in the field. This training applies to people who work in this industry all across the board, and family members who are trying to help their loved ones, because we don't always know enough to help enough. The more we know, the better we do.
Right. So that's virtual, but then you have,
virtual.
Up close and personal one coming too.
We are offering an in-person one this month. We've had a lot of requests for another in-person. Yeah. So we're doing one at our office in East Syracuse on January 17th, and that's going to be from 9 to 3. The cost for those trainings is $100 per person. And if you're interested in attending, just give us a call at the office and we'll get you set up for that.
Gotcha. Will snacks be provided?
A lunch will be provided for, yes, we provide lunch
Whenever
for the live one.
It's important. So the 469-1000.
Yes.
So even if they have questions, can you help? I'm not sure what you were talking about, but I have someone that struggles with that. What do I do? Right. You'll unpack it.
We'll unpack it.
So 469-1000. Is there info at SyracuseSenior.com, or would you rather they call?
They can do either. Some people like to not call, some don't. We don't track you down. If you call us and ask us questions, we're not following up to track you down. If you just want to ask questions, just call.
Excellent.
We're not going to hunt you down because you called in on our phone. Some companies do that, but we don't do that. But we have a lot of information on the website, too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Very good. SyracuseSenior.com. Sheila, always a pleasure. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
You too, and be more grateful.
Yes, of course. And here we go. We're going to talk with Tim Shore coming up next. He's the co-owner and brewer of Buried Acorn Brewing Company, which is just around the corner from Zoey Advertising. I'm grateful for that. Coming up on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it again. You found The Local Show. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And you can find us on YouTube at Zoey Advertising. Just look that up. And
pretty easy.
Well, yeah, it should be fairly easy. You'll find all the clips right there. We've got some talk about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts because they have another one of their workshops coming up.
Well, if you haven't registered, it's this Monday. So move it or lose it, Tom.
Yeah.
Get going. Go to safeharborwillsandtrust.com. How to protect your home and life savings. It's right over at the Embassy Suites. There's 2 offerings. You can register right online and go over and learn what you don't know. And maybe they're a fit for you. Maybe they aren't. They're not pushy. Go learn the information. That workshop, how to protect your home and life savings, this Monday. Safe Harbor Wills and Trust, safeharborwillsandtrust.com, Tom.
There you go. Now it's our pleasure to bring on a new person to the show. His name is Tim Shore. He's the co-owner and brewer of Buried Acorn Brewing Company, which is right around the corner from us, right?
Yes.
Just down the street. BuriedAcorn.com. How are you, man?
I'm excellent. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, well, I don't know about an honor. But it's an honor to have you. At least.
I was thinking of something to say. That's the first thing that came out.
That's the first thing. No, it's a knee-jerk reaction. I get it.
I know you didn't mean it.
I didn't.
Well, tell people, what is your background? Like, what's your professional background and your personal background?
Professional would be overstatement.
Okay.
But
not quite a pro.
Not really, no. At nothing. I studied music in college.
Did you?
And then ended up getting into beer.
What's your instrument? What did you play?
I was a cellist, and then I played guitar professionally for about a decade, traveling the country.
Oh, very nice.
And after that, I developed a habit for craft beer.
Because nobody travels with a cello.
Well,
no.
Most musicians. My father was a music teacher and a player for well, 50 years. He's 81. He's still playing in 3 bands. Isn't that something?
That's incredible.
Crazy, yeah. I played upright bass, double bass.
Yeah.
Which is a little bigger to haul around than the cello. Right?
Still.
So how'd you get into brewing beer?
My mom bought me a Mr. Beer kit, and it was all downhill from there.
Is that real? Is there a Mr. Beer kit?
Yeah, it's like this tiny little 2.5 gallon horizontal plastic barrel, and it says Mr. Beer on it.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And my mom bought it for me.
Yeah.
The original recipe was like an Oktoberfest recipe, I believe.
Right.
And it's one of the hardest beers to make, especially without technology attached to it.
I see.
And it's just a plastic bucket.
And you did it, and you developed an affection for it.
It made beer.
Yeah. So now what's the significance of the name, this Buried Acorn, of your place here?
So one of the things that we focus on as one of our passion projects is barrel-aged beer. 2 of the beers I brought today are aged in oak.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where the acorn reference kind of comes from.
All right.
All the other good names were taken. My wife, Crystal, my co-owner partner, she came up with the idea, and it kind of just stuck.
Yeah. So are most microbreweries, they don't age it in barrels? Is this something unique to you?
Yeah, it's a small amount of our production. Okay. But we have probably the largest oak aging program in New York State.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a ton of barrels. 2 locations with barrels, and it's not a huge part of our production,
right?
Because it takes years to make.
No kidding.
Whereas a standard ale like this IPA, it only takes about 2 to 3 weeks.
Does a Bud Light drinker know the difference?
No, but
right, you know, right,
right.
No, it's a pretty niche kind of specialty item. And really one of our worst sellers.
I love the honesty.
Well, at least he's honest.
Well, like I said, it's a passion project.
Right. Okay.
And,
that's how many brews do you make that are regular, everyday, drinkable beers?
So we distribute in 3 states. We distribute in Illinois, New York State, and Pennsylvania. We distribute really only 4 beers to those states. 2 IPAs, a Belgian, and a Pilsner. But on site, we have 3 locations in New York, and on site we make, I think we've made 140 different brands in 5 years.
Where are the locations?
Tell us the locations here.
So we have 3. One is, a half a minute commute.
From Zoey Advertising?
On Van Rensselaer, going toward the mall.
Right, from here going towards the mall, but if you go past the mall from 81, it's right up there on the left.
Right, yep. Right at Van Rensselaer Street and Hiawatha Boulevard.
Right.
And so like kind of the entrance to the Inner Harbor.
Yeah, man.
And then another location is in Newfield, New York. We have a geothermal.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, so Newfield, New York is about
Albany-ish.
No, it's west of Ithaca by 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. West of it, there's nothing west of it.
Nope, nothing. Not only us.
What is there? There's a bunch of hills.
But we got a 30-acre farm down there. We have a geothermal building. It's kind of neat. It's real rustic compared to let's say like our newest place, which is over by Syracuse Stage at Irving and Fayette.
I walked by there.
Yeah,
Tom,
near the old Phoebe's.
I was going to.
Right? Phoebe's still there.
I was going to Syracuse Stage, and I parked a couple blocks away, and I walked right by, and I went, wait a minute, I know those guys.
Yep. Cool, man.
Is that just like, do you brew there, or is that just like a bar?
So we don't brew there. That's the only location we don't brew at. We have the brew house here at Van Rensselaer.
Yep.
We have an oak aging facility down on farm, and then over at Fayette and Irving, we have just a bar restaurant, and that one's really nice. That one's just brand new.
How long have you been in business?
5 years, almost.
Wow, you're doing an awful lot in 5 years.
Yeah, hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's fantastic for you.
We have food at all 3 locations.
I saw on your website, it was pretty impressive. Name a couple top sellers.
Our top seller by far is Hot Whip. It's an IPA. It's 6% ABV. It's kind of citrusy and fruity kind of a flavor.
I thought he was asking about food.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, in food.
Yeah.
Oh, so
beer's fine, but tell us about
as far as I'm concerned, all your beer is a top seller.
So tell us about the food.
Beer is food.
Yes, right.
So that's where my mind originally kind of went. But so we have my wife is from Chicago. And one of the like Chicago staples is a Chicago style Italian beef sandwich, which is braised beef, chilled and then sliced real thin, and then pickled Italian style giardiniera, goes on top of a Toronto-style French bun, and it's then dipped in the au jus that the beef was braised in.
Good golly.
And it's one of the best things.
Why don't we eat lunch there?
Yeah,
all the time.
That's at the one right up here by the mall, right?
Yeah.
Both of them we have. Yeah.
Okay, and when are you open? When can someone go and get that sandwich?
So we're open at both locations Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're open a little later on Friday, but then Saturday and Sunday, Saturday noon to 11 and same and Sunday.
No late bar hours, huh?
No.
Is that not
really
a thing anymore?
No.
Geez, I used to DJ till 2 o'clock in the morning, you know?
Nearly nowhere you go now is
really?
open late. There's only a few.
That is
Well,
amazing.
that is wonderful. I think you're doing a great job. We have to have you back to talk more, intensely about the beers. But if somebody wants brew and great food and a
sandwich,
nice
that
atmosphere,
sounds so good.
Yeah, really quickly. Do you pull out the guitar and play? Do you do any music entertainment?
No, we don't.
No, nothing, huh? Not even strolling around, strolling cello, anything?
Not at all.
A bass solo?
Yeah, anything. All right. Well, that's Tim Shore right there. He's the co-owner and brewer of Buried Acorn Brewing Company, and they're right over there. Van Rensselaer would be the closest place right now. He's got the other places too, but go to buriedacorn.com because you can see a lot of great stuff on there. I thought the website was done well, and the food, I was enamored by the menu right there.
Cool.
Tom's always enamored by food.
Well, yeah, I'm a full Italian. What am I going to do? All right. Thanks a lot, Tim, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
You as well. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. All right, Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show.
There we go.
You'll probably want to go over and get a couple of beers and a beef on a weck.
Yeah, something. I like the beef on a weck, too.
Yeah, that's awesome. On behalf of the local show and Zoey Advertising and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families, and have a great rest of the day and all that good stuff. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend because it's more fun that way. Until next week, get down to business. Keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 1069 FM, the iHeart Music app, and YouTube at Zoey Advertising 3809.